Is remember, guys, because I've had some issues. I really do want you to ask me some questions. All right, especially if you weren't happy with your last grade. But I would prefer that you ask me a question on number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, because it just, as we go down the page, it just gets a little bit harder. Everybody with me? All right, so the second you don't understand something, speak up. All right, speak up. All right. Now, again, as you can see, the whole first worksheet is done for my last class. So that video is available. All right. So you can check your work tonight to make sure you're good. All right. Now, for today's assignment. All right. First and foremost, we want to state the excluded values for each rational expression. First of all, what is rational? Rational is a fancy word for fraction. Ratio is a fraction. So rational expressions. All right, an expression is just doesn't have an equal sign involved. You're not solving, you're simplifying generally. All right, is everybody with me on this?
Yes.
All right. Now, most people have a really hard time with this concept, but let me try to simplify it for you. I want someone to tell me what is 0 divided by 5. 0. All right, now you got to think a little bit. So here we go. What do you think 5 divided by 0 is? Very nice, guys. Very good. All right, and why is that? All right, just to review. That's the question there, and this is the question up here. 5 times what is 0? That's why this answer up top is 0. 0 times what is 5?
Oh.
Nothing. Nothing. No matter what you do, when you multiply by 0, you're going to get what?
0.
So there is no solution here. Nothing you multiply by 0 will give you 5. That's why that's no solution. Is everybody with me? All right. So you are not allowed to divide by 0. All right. Now, listen carefully for question number 1. I would like for you to say n can be anything except
0.
what? Except what?
0.
No. Because 0 squared minus 49 isn't 0.
49.
Wrong.
7.
Or?
Oh, -7.
Yes. So n can't be plus or minus 7. Why are those the excluded values? Because if I plug 7 in, what will happen in the denominator? It'll be 0. Exactly. If I plug -7 in the denominator, what will it be?
Negative.
Come on. It'll still be 0. Because -7 squared is what? Positive 49. 49 minus 49 would be what? 0. So you're not allowed to have 0 in the denominator. You're not allowed to have 0 in the denominator. Is everybody with me on this? Therefore, n can be anything except what? Except plus or minus 7. All right? Now let's see how good you are. Let's look at number 2. All right?
Is that the answer?
That's the answer. Very good. All right. So how do I figure out what P is? Or what are the excluded values? All you're doing is literally saying, when does the denominator equal 0? Factor, thank you. And what are the factors of 36 that make 13? 9 and 4. So you would factor that to what?
P minus 9 and P minus 4.
Beautiful. P minus 9 and P minus 4. So P cannot equal what? 4 or 9. Very good. If I plug 4 in for P, what am I going to get? 0. If I plug 9 in for P, what am I going to get? And I can't have a 0 in the denominator. The numerator makes no difference about the numerator. Can the numerator be 0? Yes, because 0 over anything is what? 0. All right?
Is it plus or minus 4?
Why would it be plus or minus 4?
The other one.
That's the answer. All right? Why is the other one plus or minus, do you think?
Because it doesn't matter.
Right. Exactly. If you plug 7 in or negative 7, you're still going to get 0. All right? Let's take a look at number 3. Yeah, some of you guys are good. All right, you're back on track now because this factors into a plus 5, a plus 3. Is everybody agreeing with me? So a cannot equal negative 5 or negative 3. Now, it's been a little while since you've had to do some factoring, so you got to be with me now. Good review day. Any questions with that? All right. Now, we're just reducing fractions. All right, we're reducing fractions. Please listen. 12 over 48. Reduce the numbers first. 12 over 48 reduces to what? 1/4. So everybody's going to write a 1 and a 4 down. How many A's are on top?
1.
How many A's are on the bottom?
3.
So if I simplify, you'll be left with
2.
on the...
Bottom.
Exactly. Does everybody see how simple that is? That's very simple. All right. Now it says state the excluded values. All right. So the excluded values, we just say a cannot equal what? 0. Does everybody agree? What's the only value for a that will make the denominator 0? 0. 0 cubed times 48 is still what? 0. All right. So let's look at number 5. I should have done the excluded values first. So in this case, x cannot equal what? 0. Y cannot equal what? And z cannot equal what?
0.
Does everybody agree with that? Because if I let x be 0, then the whole thing will be what? Does everybody see what I'm saying, right? So those are the excluded values. X, y, and z can be anything but 0, is what they're telling you. All right? So now we're going to reduce that. So what's 6 over 3? 2, exactly. Now, I personally like to write 2 over 1, just so I know remind myself I'm dealing with a fraction. But the 1 doesn't have to be there. How many x's on the top? How many on the bottom?
2.
So I'm left with 1 x on the bottom. How many y's on the top? How many on the bottom? So I'm left with how many z's on the top? How many on the bottom? How many left? Where?
On the top.
Z squared.
Because it's a bigger number on top.
How many z's are on the top? How many on the bottom? Right here, right? Look. So you cross out. So you're left with 2 on the top. All right? Here we go. Everybody take a look at question number 6. See if you're getting it. All right, so k cannot equal what?
0.
N cannot equal, and p cannot equal. All right, now let's reduce the fraction properly. So 36 over 20 can be reduced to, is everybody happy with 9 over 5?
Yeah.
All right, now remember, ask me if you're not sure. How many k's on the top and how many on the bottom and how many are left?
1 on the top.
1 on the top. Is everybody good?
Yes.
What happens to the ends?
They cancel out.
What about the p's?
3 on the bottom.
P cubed on the bottom. Is everybody happy with that? Any questions with that? Do I agree that's not that hard? Right?
It's gonna get harder.
Not really. All right, if you know how to factor. All right, so here we go. Now, number 7. The denominator, I want you to put off to the side. Don't forget to check for what? Yeah, the GCF, true? So what's common with 40 and 5?
5.
What else is common?
1 of C.
And what else?
50. Oh.
You'll be on this, right? Come on now.
Yes.
GCF. We're doing GCF. All right?
Oh, I see.
Now, what's left behind?
8.
8.
Plus C to the third.
Everybody agreeing with that? Again, it's not necessary to put the 1, but we're dividing. When we divide, right, your 5 divided by 5 is 1. Anybody have any questions? All right. Now we can reduce this part of the fraction. All right. So if I were to reduce that, what happens to the 5s? So what about the C's?
C squared.
C squared on top and D squared on the top. And what's left behind?
Plus 1 C. Or A plus C.
No, actually, I don't even need parentheses around that. I want to make sure I'm clear.
Now you can do it again. With the C's.
Now, can I reduce the C's now?
Yeah. Yes.
No.
No.
Things bounded by addition and subtraction cannot be reduced.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Daniel.
Why is there no, because when you reduce the second time, C squared and D squared, doesn't the rest of that have to think that
Well, you can put them in parentheses, but it's not necessary. You with me? It's like saying this, Daniel. It's like saying xy. 5xy. Do I really need a parentheses? Because there's no operation on it. You understand me? All right. So let's see how we did. All right. Number 8. Uh-oh. Yeah. No. Listen to me. From now on, I don't want you to worry about the excluded values. All right? I just want the excluded values for the top problems. Is everybody with me on this? All right. There's some things in here that make it complicated that they weren't aware about. All right, so here we go. Number 8. Now, the denominator is p minus 2. Does everybody agree? Now, since we're working on reducing, what do you think's on the top? What factor do you think is on the top?
4.
Very good. P minus 2. Right? How did I know probably P minus 2 is going to be on the top?
It's on the bottom.
Because it's on the bottom. Do they agree? So now, P, and I want it to be positive 12, so that'd have to be P minus 6. Do they agree? And if you want to double check, negative 2 and negative 6 makes the what? Negative 8. Do they agree with me? Now I can reduce the what? So your final answer is just P minus 6. Now if you put P minus 6 over 1, it's not bad, but P minus 6 over 1 is the same as P minus 6. Everybody good with that? So essentially what you're doing is factoring and reducing, factoring and reducing. All right? So let's take a look at number 9. What do you think the top has as one of its factors? So we're going to put m minus 6, which means the other factor is m plus 2. So we agree with me on that? And then m minus 6 on the bottom. So what happens? Cross out, cross out. So your final answer is just m plus 2. So we're pretty happy with that, right? Okay, number 10. How do I factor m squared minus 9? Close. Yes, there you go. Don't worry. M plus 3 and m minus 3. And then what happens to the m plus 3's? So you're left with Is everybody okay with that? Any questions or concerns? All right. 11. Don't forget the what? UCF, true. What's common with number in the numerator?
2.
2, right? And what are you left with?
7.
So what's probably in the bottom? And then the other one would be b minus 2.
So it's 2 over b minus.
Yes, very good. Can I cross out the 2's? No, of course not. Things bounded.
by subtraction.
Bounded by subtraction. Very good. Number 12. All right, here we go. Everybody factor out the numerator and factor out the denominator. Let's see if you get it right. All right, everybody try number 12. Factor, factor, factor. All right. And what am I doing here?
X minus 2 is negative 2 over 3.
Everybody happy with that so far?
Yeah.
And then the denominator is?
X minus 5. X plus 6.
Very good.
Who did 2 for
X minus 5's cancel. Do you agree? So your final answer.
And the x's can't cancel because they're bound by subtraction and addition.
You're amazing. All right, let's take a look at 13. Here we go.
Gotta do another of those
Come on, get to work, get to work. Just finish it up. If you're done, don't wait on me anymore. All right, who's going to help me with the numerator? The numerator factors to what? Y plus 8, y minus 2. Perfect. And then the denominator would be? Yep, y minus 2. And so, final answer.
y plus 8 over y over 2 plus minus 2. Because only one of them can cancel.
That's exactly correct, actually. Only. Right, one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody take a look at 14, please. Yes, sir. Tell me what it factors. What's the numerator? Yes, r minus 6. And the denominator is? Wait a minute, wait a minute.
R minus 7
R plus 7 R minus 1.
Does that make sense? Okay. Math only matters. The r minus 1's canceled, do you agree?
Yes.
So your final answer is?
R minus 6 over R.
All right, here we go. 15. Well, I told you it's very easy. Alessandra, go. The top factors to? The denominator?
And then T minus 3 minus 9, sorry.
Perfect. So what happens to the t minus 9's? Final answer. Any issues with that? All right. Let's do 16 again. Yeah, I got you. All right. So R, so what cancels?
Yeah,
You agree with that? So R plus 3 over R plus 6. Bounded by. Now look, do you see why I'm allowed to reduce this right here? Look. Because these two things are bound together by what? By multiplication. You understand me? All right, 2 more to go. Don't forget the what? If you don't remember the GCF, it's going to take you a lot of time. All right, so always double check. So
it's 2.
now what's the numerator factor 2? The denominator would be what, guys? So what crosses out? Everybody good with that? All right, let me give you 1 minute to try 18. All right, everybody try 18. You get 18 right, you're in good shape. Always remember to factor GCF.
There is no GCF.
Is there a GCF in this one?
No.
Factor the top one already?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
2y plus 4. Y plus 4.
Everybody good with that? Now, which one do you think is on the bottom? Here's where, listen, I need you to hear me because you can do this really fast. What one do you think is on the bottom? What factor?
2y plus 4.
2y plus 1. Does everybody agree y plus 4 cannot be on the bottom?
Yeah.
Everybody hear me?
Because
So now watch, if you learn that little technique, look how much quicker it is. Now I need it to be 4y squared, so that has to be 2y. And I want it to be negative 3, so that has to be a negative 3. Everybody see that? Now you want to double check your work. 2 minus 6, is that negative 4? All right, does everybody see what I'm trying to show you? Factor the easy ones first, then use the easy ones to help you solve the harder factoring problems. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
Now, which ones can cross out then?
2y plus 4.
Right, so your final answer is just,
Y plus 4 and y minus 3.
look how easy that is. Does everybody agree? Simplifying a fraction, very, very easy. All right, so now, listen, do yourself a favor. The only, go through now. You guys, listen to me. Only write the restrictions or the excluded values for numbers 1 through 6. You don't have to write the excluded values for everything else. Is everybody with me? All right, get busy on that quickly. Try to get it done before you leave. I agree.